In the kingdom of permafrost, a land forever bound by winter's chill, Princess Isolde was revered for her extraordinary power to control ice and snow. She could summon blizzards with a flick of her wrist and sculpt the most intricate ice castles and statues, a talent that captivated all who laid eyes on her creations. Yet, despite her beauty, her magic, and her royal status, Isolde was a prisoner of her own power. The cold that flowed through her veins kept her distant from everyone, leaving her lonely and yearning for warmth, a warmth she could never feel. Every day, Isolde roamed the icy halls of her palace, surrounded by the beauty of her frozen world, but it was a beauty she could not touch. She longed for the warmth of the sun, the feeling of being held by someone who could melt the chill in her heart. But all her attempts to seek warmth were in vain. No matter how much she yearned for it, the cold never left her. One fateful day, as the winds howled and snowflakes danced through the air, a foreign visitor arrived at the gates of the palace, a desert prince named Zaid. He had been caught in a violent sandstorm, his kingdom reduced to nothing but endless dunes and dust. Seeking refuge from the harsh desert storm, he found himself in the heart of permafrost, a kingdom that seemed to have no end to its winter. Zaid was unlike anyone Isolde had ever seen. His skin, kissed by the warmth of the sun, seemed to glow against the cold backdrop of the kingdom. His eyes burned with the heat of his homeland, a passion and fire that seemed to melt the very snow that surrounded them. The moment they met, their contrasting worlds collided. Isolde, cautious and reserved, found herself drawn to the desert prince's warmth. His laughter was like a burst of sunlight, his smile a flame that set her heart alight. But there was an undeniable tension between them, the very elements that defined them made it impossible for them to exist in harmony. When Zaid reached out to touch her hand, the cold of Isolde's skin sent a shock through him. Her touch froze the air, while his warmth threatened to melt everything she had ever known. Isolde was torn. She could not let her cold powers harm him, yet she could not deny the pull she felt toward him. Zaid, too, was conflicted. His warmth was something Isolde had never known, but it also posed a danger to her fragile world. The heat of his passion, the fire of his spirit, was a threat to her icy kingdom. Yet, there was no denying the attraction between them, a bond that seemed to transcend their differences. Over time, Zaid and Isolde spent more time together. Zaid taught her the warmth of love and courage, showing her that she could be both strong and soft, powerful yet gentle. He made her believe that warmth didn't have to destroy her, that it could coexist with the cold in her heart. Isolde, in turn, taught him the art of patience, the quiet strength that came from silence and stillness. Her icy world, so different from his desert home, became a place of solace for him, a place where he could find peace amidst the storms of life. As their love blossomed, so too did the tension between their two worlds. Isolde's magic grew stronger with each passing day, but so did the power of the desert prince. Their love threatened to destroy the fragile balance of the seasons. If they were to be together, the kingdom would either have to be frozen in eternal winter or be consumed by the heat of an everlasting summer. The seasons could not exist in harmony for long. The time came when Isolde and Zaid were forced to make a choice, between their duty to their kingdoms and their love for each other. Isolde could remain in her kingdom, where her ice powers would continue to govern, or she could leave with Zaid, where the warmth of the desert would burn away the cold that had defined her existence. But in doing so, she would risk everything she had known, including the life of the kingdom that depended on her. Zaid, too, had to choose. He could return to the desert, where his kingdom needed him, or he could stay with Isolde and risk losing everything he had built for the sake of a love that might never be accepted by their people. In a final, dramatic decision, they chose love. They realized that the only way to reconcile their worlds was not by choosing one over the other, but by merging them. With a powerful display of magic, Isolde summoned a blizzard that swirled with the heat of Zaid's desert flames. The two powers collided, creating a magical storm that turned the sky into a canvas of fire and ice, light and shadow. The storm raged for hours, until, at last, it subsided. When the storm calmed, Isolde and Zaid stood hand in hand, their love having changed the very fabric of their worlds. The kingdom of permafrost was no longer frozen in eternal winter, nor was Zaid's desert home scorched by unrelenting heat. The two realms had fused into a place where both warmth and cold could exist together in perfect harmony. As the seasons changed, so did the kingdoms. Isolde and Zaid ruled together, their love becoming a symbol of unity between fire and ice. And though their worlds had once seemed impossible to reconcile, they had found a way to bridge the gap, showing that sometimes, love was the most powerful magic of all. Isolde, once a princess bound by the cold, had become the queen of a land where warmth and chill coexisted. Zaid, the desert prince, had found peace in a world where both fire and ice could live together. Their love had not only changed their lives but had also altered the fate of their kingdoms, creating a legacy that would last for generations to come.